What is going on, Atlanta Falcons fans, man? Y'all know it is your boy Antoine Smith stopping in right quick to give out my quick thoughts on these Falcons top 30 visits. One name that's jumping out at me is Haynes King, the quarterback from Georgia Tech. And I've been talking about him for a while. And if you think about what's going on in Atlanta, it's all about reviving the quarterback position. Because y'all got to think, Matt Ryan, the president of football, is a former NFL quarterback, best Atlanta Falcon quarterback of all time, hands down. So that's where he's got to start to rebuild his team. Even though Ian Cunningham said we got to build it inside out, which means from the trenches all the way back. But again, you have to start with the quarterback position. You got to think about it. Michael Penix coming back from a torn ACL. He's still young at 25 years old. And don't get me wrong, don't know the timetable when he comes back. He keeps saying, preseason training camp, and he'll be ready, and he may be. But you still got to go through contact, still got to go through mental stability, and you got to trust that knee. So they bring in Tua Tagovailoa for 1.3 million or 1.2 million, and you get a quarterback that's pretty accurate, damn near 70% for his career. Down year in Miami last year, true enough. But he's a former Pro Bowl quarterback. And we seen when he's on top of his game, whether it's college or the pros, he knows how to win football games. You can't ask for more than that at the quarterback position. So, you bring in Trevor Siemian, another starting NFL quarterback that's been a spot starter throughout his career, a veteran, and who I think is going to be a hell of a coach once he retires from football. Seems like it never fails. But even though they have three quarterbacks, it's still the name Haynes King to watch. Now, let me tell you why it makes sense. It makes absolutely sense because if you look at it, 6'3", 200 pounds, 215, I'm sorry, 6'3", 215, 6'2", 6'3", I mean, it's somewhere in there. But you can't deny the talent of Haynes King. And I know some of y'all say, he's not as accurate as he should be, and I get that part because that first year at Georgia Tech, he threw 16 interceptions. And you can't just look at numbers. If you're going to look at numbers like that, you got to look at it from a factor as last year, passing the football, he was, the last 2 years, 69.8, 72.9%. So he's accurate. And we know Matt Ryan loves that because he was an accurate quarterback during his time in the NFL. And he did not throw a lot of touchdown passes at Georgia Tech. Well, his first year he did. He threw 27, but he also threw 16 interceptions. Um, but the following year, only 2,100 yards, 14 touchdowns. The numbers went down. And the third year, 14 touchdowns as well. But he threw for a career high 2,951 yards. And like I said, nearly 70%. And interceptions only 8 the last 2 years. So he threw half the last 2 years of what he threw that first year, which means he got a little bit more comfortable. Y'all got to think, he's a damn gunslinger. He loves to, sling the quarterback and sling the football all over the field, and that's something I think that intrigues Matt Ryan as well. Because if you look at Mike Penix, he has that same gunslinger mentality. So why not bring in someone else with that same mentality that you trust? But what Haynes King to me separates himself from Tua and from Penix and even from Trevor Siemian, he can use his legs. He uses his legs very well. Can scramble out of the pocket, extend plays. Throws very well on the run, but sometimes it questions. He can throw the deep ball with the best of them with his NFL caliber arm, but when it comes to short intermediate passes, it seems like he just makes too many mistakes, and that's where a lot of us, draw the line. But again, he had nearly 1,000 yards last year rushing, 15 touchdowns, finished 10th in the Heisman voting. 2024. 587 yards, 11 touchdowns running. And first year at Georgia Tech, 737 yards and 10 touchdowns. So you talk about 36 touchdowns over 3 seasons rushing, 2,400 yards, 5.2 average, can extend plays, and this is what the Falcons need now. This is exactly what they need. A quarterback that can extend plays, use his arm to get him out of trouble. And look, when you have a running back like a Bajan Robinson, and a quarterback that can use his leg, that helps the run game. That opens up everything on offense because that means sooner or later you're going to take shots downfield. And what did I just say earlier? He has an NFL caliber arm who throws the deep ball better than any quarterback in college football. And a lot of people might not agree with that. I saw it with my own eyes. Yes, he struggles, I would say 20 yards in. But when you're talking about over the top post routes, fly routes, verticals, he does all of that well. So, like I said, 6'2", 6'3", about 215. He needs to put on about 10 pounds so he can take those hits in the NFL because trust me, they going to happen. So, when you look at Haynes King, I just think it makes sense from a financial standpoint as well because I think people have him, seventh round to going undrafted. So they could get him as an undrafted free agent, or they could get him as a 7th round pick to jump ahead of signings. But again, you have too many positional needs, and if they pick up an extra 7th round pick, I can see it happening. But I think they'll find a way to get Haynes King in Atlanta, whether it's on the back end or as an undrafted free agent. And if you find a GM, and remember Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was, I think, the last pick in the draft the year he was drafted. Turned out well. Ended up being a playoff caliber quarterback, and now one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. So you can find GMs in the 7th round, and I think Haynes King can be one. And the reason why I love this move the most, I keep telling y'all, the staff they put together with Alex Van Pelt, who's helped a lot of the young quarterbacks, and Kevin Stefanski, who's worked with quarterbacks the last 20 years. I think they can let him sit for a year or two and develop and see where they go from there because I keep telling y'all, I don't see the quarterback of the future on the Falcons roster. And when you talk about next year draft class in 2027, when they drafted Michael Penix, they didn't think they were going to be in this position again. So sometimes it happens, and you just have to find a way around it. And getting a young, 25-year-old quarterback or getting a new young quarterback can extend if they develop him the right way. Don't have to pay them a lot of money, and if they find a GM, they can keep building this team like they need to because you got to think contracts, age, all of that is going to happen all the time in the NFL. So, hey, you got to take the value where you can, man. I'm telling you. But Haynes King to the Atlanta Falcons, I love it. They bring him in for a visit. They talk to him on his pro day, and I think they're pretty high on him. Let me know what y'all think. Drop them comments in the comment box. Let's debate. Let's have fun as always, man. Y'all know how we do it on Sports Machine. This your boy Antoine Smith signing off. I will hot y'all soon, man. Peace.